Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Marvel Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the Marvel Universe.
Excelsior to you, our merry Marvellites! Welcome back to our 8th, I think, maybe 9th. I've already lost count. Like, I didn't even make it to 10 show of the year.
It's February,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't even make it.
I don't even know.
I didn't make it to March, and I've already lost.
What day in February is it?
But I do know that we're episode 71.
Okay.
So this is episode 71.
See, that's up for some contention. It says 70 right in front of me.
No, but I cleared that up with Zach last week with the Voice of Doom. Like their numbering was off on YouTube.
Welcome to our February show.
Skip it, Bill. We are the Marvel Movie News coming to you live from the law offices of Nelson and Murdoch. You like how I changed that? I figure the top story every week. My Daredevil shirt was dirty.
Shirts.
Yeah, you really do. It's really embarrassing. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News, or find us through the Popcorn Talk Network, YouTube/Popcorn Talk Network, or on the Popcorn Talk's website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN, or on Facebook /Marvel News Show. Follow us, like us, subscribe to all of our stuff so we can continue to come back to you. And if you tweet out a link to our show with a message telling people about our live chat, the Voice of Doom in the booth will retweet you.
Doom demands tweets.
Bam.
Bam. We'll get to that in a second. I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key. We've got Coy over there.
At Coy Jandreau.
And we are joined by the two very special guests. Introduce yourselves.
Marisha Ray.
That is your name. That is correct. And what's your Twitter?
I believe her.
I am at Marisha_Ray on Twitter, not at Marisha May, which might be floating out in the ether right now.
And who are you, sir?
I am Eric Campbell at 8-Bit Eric on Twitter.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. So we were talking about the fake Twitter accounts earlier.
We're really way more enthusiastic than our intros, let on. But
they're so good.
Thank you. I felt like I needed to counterbalance Key's enormous amount of energy.
Look, you guys, it is Marvel Day for me. It is Marvel Day, and I get excited on Marvel Day.
It's Marvel Day for you every day, man.
Yeah, it is Marvel Day.
That is true. I've got enough shirts for it.
Yeah.
Coy has even more. It's like Marvel year for him.
Dude, it's a problem. I got 2 drawers. Just stacks of tees.
Stacks and stacks. He's got mad stacks.
Twice over Christmas, and then it's just zealous responses.
So we were talking about the fake Twitter accounts earlier, and you just created one for Marisha.
Marisha May.
So it's the way like Scooby-Doo would pronounce it.
Marisha May. Well, somebody created a fake Twitter account for Felicia Day.
Yeah.
It was called. It was the exact opposite.
Delicia Faye.
Yeah, and it's like her evil twin, and she has like an eye patch. And
that's funny.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I was
like, alternate universe.
Both of you guys are at Geek and Sundry. You write for Felicia Day still, or you did, or
we're working on projects together right now. But for Geek and Sundry, I wrote The Flog with her, and I wrote Felicia's Arc, which is like a 1-season cute little show that she did off on the side. And we just got done doing season 2 of The Flog, and I did that with her and all the little sketches for her book tour that we did together.
Nice.
Those were fun.
Yeah, one which we had her dressing up in a suit and screaming her head off as Crazy Bastard Sam was her name. It was pretty awesome. I didn't think Felicia would do that, but she went, oh my god.
Yeah, she was like a used car salesman type of.
She didn't kind of do that. She really
She
did
committed.
She went to 11.
Yeah.
Wow. And you do Critical Role, right?
I do, also on Geek and Sundry.
A little game called Dragons and Dungeons, yeah?
Yep, you named it. That's the exact one.
By Barry Buybacks, if I'm correct. That's his name, right? Barry Buybacks?
I'm gonna create that a Twitter account right
now. Whole show just making Twitters.
Holy shit, guys.
You guys will have to excuse Eric. He's busy creating Twitter accounts.
I'm gonna create one.
I am on Critical Role, which is dungeon mastered by the amazing at Matthew Mercer. I don't know why. I'm
in like
speaking
5
in
years,
Twitters
we
now.
literally just become just like we refer to people by their Twitter
We're
handles.
just handles.
Yes, this is my life at blah blah blah.
Oh man, when I was
Here's
doing
my
stand-up,
newborn child.
when I was doing stand-up, they referred to me by my email, my old email, which was the Matt Key, and that's my Twitter now.
Yeah.
But like they'd be like, "Coming to stage, the Matt Key," and I'd be like, "What?
That happens
That's not the way I asked you to
What?
introduce me. Like I sound like such a douchebag now."
That happens to me at Comic-Con because nobody knows writers at all
Yeah.
when you're writing for like sketch comedy on the web or anything like that. So I have to introduce myself as 8-Bit Eric to people, or they don't know who the
No,
hell.
that
so-
funny guy on
Oh,
Twitter.
yeah.
And so it's slowly kind of starting to happen.
Sure.
Man, that'd be embarrassing. Cause I got like the same email from 6th grade. It's like Tyler Durden at hotmail.com. So I'd be like,
At least
yeah,
it's not GeoCities.
bro.
Tyler
Such a
Durden at
dork.
GeoCities.
Such a dork. All right.
Tyler Durden.
Stand by.
So you guys, did you say you had an announcement that you wanted to make?
Oh, we
today?
do. We have.
Yeah.
Speaking of Eric writing shows and Geek and Sundry and all that fun jazz, we have a new show that is coming out in March called. Do you want to say it?
Yeah,
Or should I say
it's called Signal Boost.
Ooh.
She says,
Oh, yes, our studio audience
Thank you,
on
yes.
our cosmic couch is in love with it.
You said Signal Boost.
Signal
so we're
Boost.
Signal Boost. Yeah, Signal Boost. Yeah, it's a new show that I am producing and Eric is writing, and I will also be hosting the first handful, and then it's gonna be like a little cocktail of hosts, little grab bags every once in a
Little
while.
grabby bags.
Never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's being directed by Sean Becker, who
Hate that guy.
everybody.
That guy. Shit, damn it, there it goes immediately. Not even 5 minutes in.
Not even 5 minutes in. Yeah, it's being directed by Sean Becker, who was a director on The Guild, and he's done a ton of stuff. The guy is like brilliantly talented
Yeah.
and hates being mentioned because he likes being the guy behind the camera, not in front of it. So
Sean Becker.
So Sean Becker. Sean Becker.
Yeah, you know that's Sean Becker.
SEAN and then BECKER.
Yeah, that's how you
Right?
spell Sean Becker's name. Sean
He's
Becker.
about 5'11", I guess. and,
Yep. Handsome. Has a dog.
He's really has a dog.
Wears a lot of hats.
Yeah. Anyway, he
it's
hates
nice.
being talked about. So
All right. Well,
Yeah.
on that note, what do you say we talk about some Marvel stuff?
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Sounds good.
So we're gonna start with Doctor Strange because we should get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be hanging over my head.
gonna-
I'm not gonna be able
Gestating.
we got our first image of Benedict Cumberbatch
Yeah.
in the cloak and the tunic running alongside Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo. A dude was periscoping it from his office in London, narrating the whole thing. What made it so much more delightful to me was that he had no idea what he was really watching.
Yeah.
He was just like,
Yeah.
I think it's Doctor Strange. I think it's Doctor Strange because it's Benedict and he's wearing red. I think that might be who it is. And he was doing his best to answer questions that people were asking him
brilliant.
on Periscope. He's like, I don't know. It's that one guy from 12 Years a Slave, but I didn't I don't know who he's playing. And I'm yelling at my screen. He's Baron Mordo. He's Baron Mordo! I should be periscoping this!
They can't hear you.
Yeah,
He can't.
no,
Can't hear you.
especially because it was 24 hours earlier.
Right.
He's not even in his
What's
office
funny
anymore.
is I've been saying for a long time I've been waiting for Periscope to be abused
Yeah.
because
Oh,
this
it's
is
happening.
this is where it's at, and this is kind of the first instance of it being abused.
I mean, we're
on
our
a
own
set
big brother
of,
now. We're
We're
We really are
own
all
big
just
brother.
staring at
We're
each other.
literally- The idea that we're filming stuff on purpose for other people to watch and spy on and
Yeah.
ruining movie sets is terrifying.
And you don't know when someone's doing it. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. I'm surprised it's kind of still legal.
I wear so much
I'm
more
not gonna
pants
lie.
just out of fear because the nudity
got-
ratio is just a lot lower now because I assume someone's just filming all the time.
See, I never want to be that dick. So whenever I'm periscoping, I
That's
try
why you
and
wear pants, so you're not
I
that
come
dick.
up, so I'm not that dick, and I'm like, look, you're on camera, and people are immediately like, oh, right,
Public
right.
persona.
Yes.
It's gonna be so weird at Comic-Con and stuff going forward. How technology is it's advancing so quickly that there is
Yes.
no. I don't know. I'm scared.
Even exposing Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah. So
Luckily he was wearing pants.
there is the picture of Doctor Strange. There's it was weird that this is the picture that they chose to tweet out. I looked for individual snapshots of the picture on the Twitter page that was called Anything Cumberbatch. It's at Anything Cumberbatch. Apparently they're big fans of Cumberbatch. That's my guess
Sure.
as to the Twitter
Anything
feed.
Cumberbatch. Really.
Anything Cumberbatch will do. And I agree, as long as that anything is Doctor Strange. Or Sherlock. I like to be
great.
I
Sherlock.
feel like
He
there's
is
got to
good.
be Cumberbatch crackers made in India that should qualify on the site. Anyway, continue.
But he's perfect. He's perfect, and he's running. The thing is, he's running along with Baron Mordo, So like they're like it just continues to prove my thoughts that like he and Baron Mordo start off as like allies, and I think it's at the end. I think they're gonna do like, I hate to mention this name, but I think they're gonna pull like a Green Lantern and be like, Sinestro the whole time is like, yeah, I'll train you, jeez. Okay, now you're good. And he's like, wait, I should be the Sorcerer Supreme. Screw you, Strange. I think that's what's gonna happen. But here's my question: who is in yellow? Who is in yellow?
That's Bumblebee, yeah.
That spin-off movie.
Yeah.
They just announced it.
It does look
Yeah.
like there is like
Crossover.
it looks like there's a car there. Is that like
there's a
yellow
car, but
taxi?
there's-
It could be.
So in the video,
I'm not
like
sure.
Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo run up to someone that's on the ground. There's glass shattered all around them, like they just fell out of a building. And the guessing online was it's either Wong or the Ancient One. But you really cannot tell. Like I tried zooming in and everything. Like they're looking away the whole time. I couldn't tell. So
Honestly, I feel like this is just a further point on why
This shouldn't
films
exist.
don't want you. Why films don't want you to leak stuff
Because you're just wondering all these things.
you're wondering all these things, and it's
Yeah.
so unfinished. And this is just such a good kind of point to make about filmmaking. On
Let it be a film.
let it be a
come out,
film. Let it come.
show
Let it
when-
finish.
And see,
Because it's hard to
that-
even know.
That's the thing is like when you have this much open to interpretation, I mean a fan base can come up with any damn thing,
Yeah.
anything. Like
Yeah.
I remember this kind of reminds me. This is kind of a little off, but this kind of reminds me that when Mass Effect the video game came to an end, and there was all this speculation about the real meaning behind the ending. Based off of images that they were taking pictures of and putting it up on the internet, and this guy came up with a 2-hour YouTube video fan theory about how Shepard was really indoctrinated and all this other stuff. And then, like, sadly, like 6 months later, the extended content came out, and BioWare was like, "No, that's not correct. I'm sorry, that's not.
that's awesome.
That's completely wrong." But
That's so
this,
awesome.
and that kind of reminds me of like this because. From a storyteller aspect, it's entirely possible that the person in yellow is somebody that could have just been created for the film,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and is
Exactly.
leading us to the
Kind
I
of
think
what
it's not
I'm
fair to the
thinking.
film.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm-
know. It just bothers me, and we're doing it.
We are.
no, but what,
Like it
right
could
now,
be
like,
an
here's the
extra.
thing, like-
It could
just
be
saying-
just a guy that like fell over and like died,
We're-
and
we're
now
wit-
he's like, oh no.
We're witnessing a lawsuit actually
Yeah.
right here.
It feels so long.
Yeah.
It really does.
Hi-yo. Just moving on.
Man.
Just get out. Just we've already done that joke. We did that joke like last week.
I got 6 more months in
No,
this.
and I
I
dropped
got
the
6
mic.
more
Remember,
months.
I called it back
It's
like
true.
an hour
It's true.
later
It's
and
true.
murdered you.
Oh man.
I don't see
All
anything
right,
wrong with
let's
it, dude.
skip
I
it
see
a bit.
nothing wrong with it.
Skip it about.
I still don't know how that's more polite.
It is.
Still don't know how.
It is. Captain America: Civil War. Martin Freeman's role was revealed this week. He is none other than Everett Ross.
No kidding, I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that?
No.
Dude, how exciting is that, right? Like, we've got a couple pictures that we can throw up. It came out through Empire. But he's Everett Ross, and we've got that picture there with him next to Emily Van Camp, who's playing Agent 13. Yeah. So the rumors from a couple months ago are that his role is very limited in this. So I feel like this is, like...
A beginning for him, kind of?
It's a beginning for him. Like, he's probably going to show up, like, with T'Challa and maybe be a point of contact for T'Challa, and we might see him in like a boardroom scene of like, look, you've just got to give him his room to do his thing. We're sorry, we're trying to contain it, whatever. But he's not like a crucial part of this. But with him being Everett Ross, he will absolutely be. You don't have a star of this like magnitude, and have him like. Man, he was
Only
in it for like
appear
2
once.
minutes, and he was a
Yeah.
main character that's in Black Panther comics, and now he's not in the movie. Like,
Right.
he's absolutely going to be a big part in that film, which I think is what 2017. I think.
And I love how
2018?
they're setting up, like with Claw in Age of Ultron. Like they're really building this amazing Black Panther
Yeah.
universe, and we're gonna
Yeah.
be so fleshed out by the time we get there that we'll like. They can tell more of a story because we've met these characters. We're familiar. We've got some acquaintance, and now with this, like that's even. Oh, I'm so excited for Black Panther.
So I
Yeah.
have a question about Black Panther, actually.
Please, Eric, ask.
So, because in the Marvel Universe, we see all the time actual cities being used as opposed to Metropolis. We have New York City and so on and so forth. There's no Gotham as much as there is, like, you know. So, but when it comes to Black Panther, he was given a fictional country in Africa, and I was just curious.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, what do you think?
Why do I think that was?
Yeah.
I think he was given the fictional country because there's no country in Africa that is like Wakanda. Like,
So it's more of a
it's-
fantasy environment.
it's
kind
a
of thing,
fantasy
so.
environment. I think it's sort of like a commentary on what Africa could be like capable of or possible, like if like the West hadn't like taken it over or something like that. Like you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
interesting. Yeah, that's
like
interesting.
it feels like it's sort of like here's what they should be able to do. Like here's what they could do, but then we were all jerks and went in there.
That's
and,
an
like,
interesting
kind of,
commentary.
And Wakanda's also as much a character as Black Panther.
Yeah,
like
I knew
Wakanda
that
is
too,
as
yeah.
important. So I think if it was like New York, it'd be like, well, we know New York, like
Right.
so it doesn't feel
Yeah.
as like Wakanda's got such a rich history and the characters got such a rich history because of that. It adds another level that I think if we had a city that we knew, it wouldn't play.
And I know that there's other fantasy cities out there. I mean, obviously Namor, Atlantis. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a given. But
According to the internet, that's
yeah.
real. Atlantis,
Is
it's
it-
down
it's
there.
real?
You can find it.
Well, I went and
Some
saw
corners of the
that movie in theaters. I don't know why I was obsessed with Atlantis, but I learned later that Joss Whedon had a hand in making it, so maybe that's why. But
The Disney
movie?
film?
Yeah,
I really
love
liked that
yeah.
movie.
haven't seen it.
What?
I just didn't see it.
It's actually very good.
Yeah, it's pretty
So yeah, but anyway, so Everett Ross, for those of you who don't know,
Cool.
it was like I can't remember the writer who started the series, but it was like back in the mid '90s, I believe. I want to say Chris something. I'm probably wrong.
Good old Chris.
I've read like the first like
Oh yeah, Chris.
first like couple graphics of it. It's very good, but the very first time you ever meet Everett Ross, he's like in his underwear with a pistol pulled out, standing up on a toilet, terrified of a mouse.
Fantastic.
That's the very first frame
That's
you
his
ever
first
see
frame.
Everett
Martin
Ross.
Freeman.
So when they cast Martin Freeman, like all of us who are familiar with Everett Ross, were like,
Yes.
"Oh my God,
Totally.
it's Everett Ross!
This
He's
is
got to be
Everett-
Everett Ross! Like he's
This
perfect
totally
for
works,
Everett
yeah.
Ross."
Yeah,
But,
Yeah, well,
like,
that's what I was going to say, like, because the Everett Ross that I've always associated
Yeah.
with from what I've seen of him in the comics, and I'm nowhere near as fleshed out of an expert as you are, or Coy over here. He's like a quintessential coward. He
Yeah.
is that coward in a business suit. And I'm having a hard time depicting Martin Freeman as he's kind of getting typecast.
The thing is he aside from John Watson, who does a lot
yeah,
of
there he is. Yeah.
yeah, but aside from John Watson, really, like for the most part, and I guess, and of
So
course,
good.
in Hitchhiker's Guide, but even then, he started off as a coward.
As a
you know what I
coward,
mean?
yeah.
But Martin Freeman just does such a great job.
He
of-
does.
of-
Key Brains
he-
said Christopher Priest wrote it.
Thank
so
you. I knew it was a Chris something.
and thank you, Key
Chris.
Brains.
Thank you, Key Brains. Wait, my brains? My brains? Key brains?
It just had to get to you. It was
Wow.
cycling through.
Wow. Well, my brain
It's
is in a few
self-aware
different
on the
places
internet.
every time we do this show. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited about that. Like that was really like that was
pretty
news
great.
that I was like,
Yeah.
I felt like that was like wasn't so much news. It was like, Matt Key, you were right. I was like, thanks, Marvel.
Thanks, Marvel.
But anyway, we've also got, and like, by the way, I have our all of this stuff up on the website, geekgirlauthority.com, if you want to go see all these pictures, because I know we also have like a large iTunes audience.
yeah.
So for those of you driving in your car, when you get to work or you get back home, just jump onto Geek Girl Authority, look for Marvel Movie News, and you can see all the pictures and everything there that we're talking about. Because we've also got a great, like, the first like actual publicity picture of Crossbones and Scarlet Witch. Yeah. And, I mean, he looks so good. Like you can
Yeah, he
see his
does.
eyes and like just like seeing his eyes.
he looks
just-
like a mofo, that guy.
Yeah.
They did a great job on that.
I love that actor, man. Frank
yeah.
Grillo's fantastic.
So happy, by the way, to see Scarlet Witch in the red.
right.
The
the
more
jacket.
classic,
Oh.
yeah.
the more classic red.
Oh yeah.
So
and the
happy.
hunch, like she's like so. I mean, she's a beautiful actress, but the witch flavoring with her,
Yeah.
like it's so perfect.
So good.
and it's so the character. Like the current Scarlet Witch comic is brilliant, and
Oh,
this
so good. It
this
is
feels
so
like
good.
that to
Yeah.
me.
They
Like
did
this
a great
has so
job of
much to it.
casting on her, I thought.
Yeah.
They did such a good job.
It like that was the only casting that's like one of few times Marvel's done casting where I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to watch
Really?
this one, and then I saw, I was like, yep, okay, I'm on board.
See,
I'm on board.
I think Liz Olsen's like such a talented young
no,
actress.
she's an
and-
amazing actress, but like I just didn't see her as in
Yeah.
the part of Scarlet Witch.
Oh, I see. She's killing it.
But she was dead on.
I kind of felt bad for the Avengers when it came to Quicksilver, because I was like, I don't know how you guys are gonna one up Quicksilver from Days
Right.
of Future
From-
Past,
yeah.
because he was almost a show stealer for that movie.
Oh, 100%. And then they
Yeah.
know that for the next one, they're giving him
Yeah.
so much more time.
Which is-
and-
Yeah.
Have you heard about like how they're doing the next one? Like,
No.
so they spent 6 weeks filming just his sequence.
No
There's
kidding.
one sequence.
No
6
kidding.
weeks,
Oh, I'm
just
so
his one
excited.
sequence.
What?
And I can't remember how many cameras they used, how many feet of film, but it was all on Phantom. They actually had a rig that pulled a Phantom camera back at like 50 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So I have this
That's
wacky theory
crazy.
about Quicksilver, though, the way he was shot.
Yeah.
The thing is to be moving is okay. This is where I get super geeky here, but
Sure,
The
do
thing
it.
is to be moving the way he was moving, and to have things still happening in real time for himself. For example, this is the thing that caught me, was like if he was moving at his speed, there's no way he was going to be able to hear
Yeah.
the music in his headphones. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So little things like that and the way he was interacting with the world around him kind of made me think, like, I think Quicksilver might actually be altering space-time as opposed to running insanely fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how the Flash does it. Like, like he's a part of the Speed Force, you know?
Yeah.
No, I had that same thought too. I was like watching it, I was like, nah, that music would be a little bit different unless he like sped up the music to go at like his speed, but
which is entirely possible.
We need
to get DeGrasse Tyson in here to like, hey, he would be able to hear.
I'll call him right now.
Yeah, let's just get him on the phone.
That is a good point, though.
So anyway, let's move on to Heroic Hollywood reported this week that the Russos said that the consequences of Civil War will have an even more significant impact than Winter Soldier, and that it has a very dramatic ending that will be controversial for a lot of people.
Oh no, someone's gonna die.
It's someone's dying.
Someone's gonna die.
And it's pretty much Cap or Iron Man.
I hope they don't do how they ended the Civil War comics with Cap, because that was just like gut wrenching.
I think it's either going to be that, or they'll twist the comic fans and make it Iron Man.
And make it Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Although, wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if because in the ending of Civil War comic, it was an agent of Red Skull that did it, right? Was that
it was Agent 13, but she was being mind controlled. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Guys, this is really easy. Whose contracts are up?
Yeah.
Whose contracts are coming up with Marvel?
We're gonna IMDb this right now and find out.
And they can all come back.
Is RDJ looking like his contract's up? Because that might be what's going on here.
I mean, Chris Evans did say he wanted to do a lot more directing, and then he wanted to step out of Cap eventually. So this might be his exit. Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, they've got two good candidates to take over the mantle with Bucky and Sam Wilson.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and they don't really have another Iron Man, but Robert Downey, like just talking like contractually, like you were like. His contract is up. They had to renegotiate
chills thinking about this
for Civil War.
Guys, he needs a couple more islands. He'll do more movies.
Yeah.
I love that Downey Jr.'s just like, hey, I make a lot of money, but also my homies need money too. Like that Downey Jr. has been defending his Avengers like a leader, and like getting them raises as he goes along.
But I do like to imagine that like Downey Jr. now has enough cash to go like buy Isla Nublar? He's gonna go form his own like Jurassic Park. Like, I would love to see Downey Jr. be like, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh, we spare no expense.
It's just tons of little Downey Jr.'s running around though. It's not dinosaurs, it's little clones of Robert Downey Jr.
But like, they all have like tiny arms. Like,
I'm just picturing the image, the iconic image of him from Iron Man 1 with his arms open and just like dinosaurs behind him, right?
Fan fiction, you guys.
Also in that same Empire article, Gwyneth Paltrow is also said to appear as Pepper Potts at some point in the film.
I love her as Pepper.
Which, again, like,
cool.
It seemed like the Empire articles seemed to say like she came in for reshoots for the end of the film.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, wait, am I reading into that? Because like, I really think Iron Man's gonna die. Like,
I don't know.
So like, if Pepper Potts would make sense to come in and be like, you killed Iron Man.
But it's harder to, but you can't see because the Bucky and Cap thing, that's a great setup for a replacement. But who replaces Iron Man if he dies? And Iron
Pepper Potts as rescue?
It would be pretty awesome. But I mean, Iron Man obviously has to be there for Infinity War.
Well, that's the thing. Right? Anybody that dies can come back because the
Or Don Cheadle as War Machine.
Really doesn't
dude, I would love to see.
What am I thinking? Like he would be a perfect replacement for Iron Man. He's replaced him in the comics before.
I would love to see Don Cheadle. I would love to see way more War Machine and Don Cheadle. I would love to see that.
I don't know. For some reason, I don't see him going that direction.
You don't see it?
I do not see them killing Iron Man that way.
I don't think they kill Iron Man either.
I don't see Marvel doing it. I don't see Disney doing it.
They said controversial.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole point.
They said it's controversial, and the other thing is
Cap seems more controversial than Iron Man to me.
I think it'll be a breaking point for Tony.
Because he's such a mantelpiece Marvel character? More so than Iron Man?
MCU, Iron Man's the big dog. Comics, Cap is the big
dog. Because it's Captain America. Because it's what he represents. I'm thinking more. I think you guys are thinking more in terms of the comic book fans. I'm thinking more of how Marvel's thinking this is going to affect the general public who might not have ever picked up a comic before in their life.
So you're thinking like geopolitically killing America.
Yes. That's kind of what I'm wondering.
That makes sense.
And it does reflect the comics, so it's interesting how they'll handle it.
We've got some really good theories here, guys.
Also,
gotta move on.
Iron Man makes them the most money.
Matt, Voice of Doom here.
Voice of Doom!
For what it's worth, Chris Evans has one movie left on his contract after Civil War.
I wonder if they'll save that for Infinity
War. He's already sort of leaked that he's working on Infinity War by saying that he's shooting a movie in that area, that an unnamed movie shooting in the same place as Infinity War.
With Robert Downey Jr.
Watch it be a rom-com.
Also, like when I talked to the Russos in New Orleans, when I talked to the Russos, they said like when they were talking about the genre differences between Winter Soldier and Civil War, and then talking about how that's going to be different from Infinity War. They then went on to say, Captain America definitely has a large part in Infinity War, but it's not based on his character the way the other two films were.
Interesting.
So, like,
and
that
did
was
they
like
say Captain America or Steve Rogers?
They said Captain America, but like,
He's so awesome.
it was like in the same breath as like talking about how like it's out of Steve Rogers' character. So I don't know.
It would be so awesome to see Bucky become the new Cap, and to see Tony have to deal with Cap's death and the repercussions.
But like vice versa, because Cap is the one who's starting the war.
That's
like,
true.
The war is coming out of his decisions, more or less.
In the comics, it was Tony. It was kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. that set the powder keg off eventually, right? When they tried to arrest Cap on the helicarrier.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because the thing is it's like I always think back to like Battlestar Galactica and how the character Hilo was like the moral center of the entire show. He was the incorruptible center. I kind of feel like even with the controversial decisions that he's making, Cap is going to be that. I think he's just going to be the moral center, and Tony's going to. I think his death is going to be what's going to make Tony realize. Is going to make Tony finally, because Tony's always hated. He's like in the movies. He's always been like really just like, oh, shut up already. Like he's like kind of sick of that Boy Scout stuff. I think this is what's going to wake Tony up to what it is to really be a hero, because it's kind of what he's been struggling with since the beginning of the films, right?
Let me throw this out, and then we need to move on to Black Panther stuff. But Downey Jr. has been the centerpiece character for Marvel's like phase 1 and 2. Moving into phase 3, it's wacky cuckoo bananas. Really? Like Captain Marvel, Guardians 2, Doctor Strange, like Inhumans is ending like phase 3, like
but no
it's
Silver Surfer?
Wacky. They don't have the rights.
I'm so upset about
Fox,
yeah.
All my favorites, none of them. Ghost Rider and Silver Surfer have just been totally screwed.
I think Ghost Rider's back at Marvel, but we've skibidi-bop. We're skibidi-bidi-bidi. Skibidi-bop.
Okay.
Skibidi-bidi-bidi-bop. Black Panther, Joe Robert Cole, the writer, talked about Wakanda, African culture, and getting it all right. We've got a lot of quotes. I'm only going to throw one out there. By the way, we've got our first image of Black Panther with his hood off.
Check that out, dude.
It's like, we've seen Black Panther. Now we've seen Prince T'Challa.
Yes.
I'm so happy for that actor, man. He is just...
Dude. At the Marvel event, like, that they threw a couple years ago where they released the whole slate, and they had, like, Downey Jr., Chris Evans come out to talk about Civil War. And then they're like, well, I guess we're just going to have to... get someone else to side with us, and they're like Black Panther, like Chadwick Boseman comes out, and no one knew that like that was where they announced he was playing Black Panther. Like the crowd went bananas. It was awesome.
So happy.
So anyway, I just want to point out that one of the quotes that he said about the advanced technology. Actually, let me say this one. Doing justice to Wakanda and African culture, he said. It's a process of investigation to help inform the story at this point, but we are going to be engaged with consultants who are experts on the continent and African history and politics, because they want to make Wakanda like an actual real place rooted in actual history, like rooted there, and like a culture that like could actually exist if it had been allowed to grow, So, but then going on to advanced technology. The writer said, that's one of the many questions that excite me. I think you try to extrapolate from the early civilizations and cultures of the continent, kind of looking for unique ways they set themselves apart from Western civilizations, and then pursue those avenues technologically and see where it takes you. So it's more like, basically what he's saying is, what were they doing 1,000 years ago? What sort of innovations could they have made without interference? Because that's like one of the things about Wakanda is it's so isolated, it's free from interference from anyone else, so they're allowed to advance themselves, and they're such an old culture they could, so that's one of the things he's saying, like we start with this one thing, it becomes this, it leads to this, like they're like reverse engineering like
a civilization.
So I'm like the fact that they're putting that much thought into it, they're going to consultants, they're talking to those kinds of people.
That's pretty smart. Because
I am so like, and I finally got the chance to see Creed this past weekend.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't believe I haven't seen it. I'm so upset.
Oh my god! I like
been really busy.
The second thought I had leaving that theater, like because my first thought was, oh my god, that's one of the best films I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
My second thought was, oh my god, Black Panther, because like Ryan
Right.
Coogler is directing it, like,
Right.
and oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. So
Yeah, and I imagine. I mean, not only coming from a storytelling standpoint of wanting to do it justice and get it right, not just from the comics, but also to make sure that you're not just being a Hollywood filmmaker that's assuming they know what they know about African American culture or African culture
right,
or any
like-
kind of like Black culture at all, and just like making a film about it, and then it's. I mean, Disney and Marvel. It sounds like. I mean, Marvel's always. I mean, you guys can correct me on this, but it always seems like they've actually done it. When it comes to comics, especially, they've done a better job at being a little more inclusive and a little more sensitive.
A better one.
A better one.
I mean,
I
it's
did say
taken
better.
some
Yeah, it's taken
years.
some time.
it's taken
but-
some time. but, like,
I'll give them this. They were one of the first mainstream comic book publishers to start really putting forth an effort.
Right.
I'll say that, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, and like if you just look at their lineup right now, with their all new, all different, like it's all new and it's all different. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of Spider-Man.
I mean,
but one
they're
of them is
killing it
like,
now. Like,
you know,
Miss
like
Marvel's
African American,
amazing.
Hispanic, and like Miss Marvel's like one, or Miss Marvel like is the first like Muslim, like Indian
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
they are just like, and she's like,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's wonderful that we can say
Yeah.
all of this. We
But
could have
it
been
has taken
saying it
some
10,
time.
20 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have been, you know. And that's just, you know. And things with, like, for example, with Black Panther, like, it's kind of weird, actually, the way it's coming back around, and it's kind of an amazing point on the way media will recycle itself and rejuvenate itself, because Black Panther was born out of that whole kind of civil rights movement back.
What I found fascinating was that Black Panther, the character, was before the Black Panther movement took American
Yeah,
hold.
yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
they actually changed the character name during the Black Panther movement because they were like, we
they
don't
were
want to
like,
be
we don't wanna be
associated.
so-
He's
so
just a great
rough.
character. Like,
Yeah.
And the fact that we're now dealing with the country of Wakanda being invented with such delicacy is amazing, and such, like, we're researching, like you said, we're
Yeah.
investing, and I love that we're taking the time to make it count because it's important.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we're going through and doing this right, and they need to, because this is a
clearly
character
it's-
that needs to exist
Yeah,
and needs to
exactly.
be rich, and that's why I love, like I said, that we're investing these characters early. That way we don't spend 2 hours like meet. Oh no! Like, we'll have met them, and then we can dive into the world.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm really excited.
And
It's one of my
I'm-
most anticipated.
and like they're saying that Black Panther is going to be the big one that's setting up Infinity War. So,
Interesting.
which I don't know how, but
Yeah. That's
And
interesting.
how awesome was Luke Cage and Jessica Jones? Like that was.
that's our next. Well, that's coming up soon.
we'll hold off on that
yeah,
one.
Let's talk.
But
very
well,
quick.
I mean, just kind of sorry. I know you're gonna
No,
but
I'm withholding it.
Jessica Jones did a fantastic job. They could have easily ruined
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Jones and the you know, kind of Bechdel test piece that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see the same thing with Black Panther. It's gonna walk the line. But I mean, it's no secret that, like I was saying, it's in culture right now. We need something
Yeah.
like this, and they
Yeah,
need to do it
totally.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aw, thanks,
That's for
studio
you, Marisha.
audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Couch. Thank you,
Jeez.
Cosmic Couch. So Wolverine is confirmed to have been rated R.
Oh, they
and
confirmed it?
Was always going to be, but they're saying it was
Oh.
always going to be like that Hugh Jackman, when he went to them and said, "Hey, you guys want to do Wolverine 3? I'm willing to do it, only if it's rated R, because I want to be able to just like claws out go."
I like
just-
the idea that it's slowly getting better. Like, Wolverine Origins was like hard bad, and the last one was like, that's a movie. And now and Hugh Jackman's like, hey, so it's my last time. I'm gonna release this image of me giving the middle finger with a, and then just like diving into hard R. I want
Yeah.
a berserker rage. I want to see people get eviscerated. I want to see
Yeah.
intestines. I
Yeah.
want to see like Wolverine get so destroyed he has to rebuild himself, and he's
Yeah.
like rotting and
Yeah,
on fire.
Hulk versus
and,
Wolverine
yeah,
style,
I want
like,
to see him like
my legs are over
completely-
there.
right?
Yeah.
And like getting shot and ripped apart and like hard R. And
Totally.
now we get it. And
Yeah.
that's a character that we shouldn't. The only thing I'm worried about with Deadpool doing so well is that the studio's getting the wrong idea of what that means.
That means.
So the idea that Wolverine being R makes sense. That's an R-rated character.
Yeah.
That works. Punisher, R-rated character. We don't need dark, edgy Booster Gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I
That-
really
Dark
hope.
so
Edgy
weird.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, like we don't need to go into that world. Like Miles Morales in a hard R noir. Like, we don't need that. So I'm really excited that they're picking a character that deserves R to test the
Frank
waters
Miller
further.
does.
Yeah, like Silver Surfer.
Silver
like, why?
Surfer.
Like,
Why?
so I'm really excited that they're picking a character to test, because like once can be a fluke. but twice is a rule, and then 3 times is a phenomenon. So if they do Wolverine, they go 2.
Right.
It does well. I'm really excited. I love the idea of already Wolverine.
And Deadpool is completely revolved around breaking the fourth wall and being more of a
16
social
walls,
statement.
actually.
And
16 walls.
And that like you said, we hope that people don't get the wrong idea.
$500 million. Every studio is getting an idea. I just hope they get the right idea.
Right idea, yeah.
They're probably not.
Ant-Man.
I'm gonna give them some credit because Deadpool exists. I had not been given credit until Deadpool existed. Now I have full carte blanche. Please, studios, keep proving me wrong. Fox, you're killing it. Thank you.
So Mitchell Smith on Twitter, who I believe is probably listening along, says that Wakanda has an infinity gem for thousands of years, and that's why they are advanced.
That's right.
And then Thanos comes for it and tries to destroy them. So I don't know that that's necessarily like comic book canon. Like they've
they'll do that.
he's had like infinity gems before, but like a lot of people in the Marvel universe have had
They've
them.
kind of danced around that.
But it would be interesting if maybe like somehow like the advanced technology is somewhat related to the infinity gem. That would be interesting. So the power gem was in Guardians. So
I've been obsessed with the Infinity Gauntlet since that issues first came out, because that was when I was a kid, and that was the first time I saw the Marvel Universe die.
Yeah.
And so that blew my mind. I had never seen like Spider-Man getting his head smashed in with a rock, and Iron Man getting decapitated, and Scott suffocating, and Hulk being eaten by
one of my favorite panels in that is like Cyclops goes to shoot Thanos with a beam, and like Thanos just goes like that, and a box appears around his head, and like the laser just bounces around in his face as he suffocates. I'm like, oh my god!
Thor getting shattered to glass, and just. It's so brutal. Like, I kept telling people who weren't familiar with him, like, just prep yourself. But the thing is like, in the movies, the way they're dancing around it, I don't remember the Vision ever having an infinity gem on his forehead. When they did that, I was like, holy hell, they're going for the highest stake. Because the moment that happened, I put my hand in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, Vision's gonna die.
Yeah, like immediately we're like, oh,
he's
Vision's
dead. It's a death
die.
sentence. Because Thanos is coming for that.
Like, either that or like they're gonna have to find a way to like bring him back to life in some way, but like
he dies in the Infinity fight horribly, like everybody else. But
so anyway, I wanted to throw that shout out to Mitchell, who has I thought that's a
thank you,
that's
Mitchell.
A good theory,
That's a good point.
So let's jump over. Do you have anything? You moved your hand.
No, I was giving deuces to Mitchell.
Oh, okay. Let's jump over to Netflix, where they've got a little show coming out called Luke Cage. We got our first official, kind of like super official image of Luke Cage. I think like late last week, just like a Luke Cage poster. There it is. He looks good. I like it. I'm on board.
Simple.
Yep.
I like the kind of like 1980s stripper Luke font he's got going on.
The thing that I freaking love about Luke Cage and the way they portray him in Jessica Jones is he is such an immeasurable badass that he doesn't feel the need to exert it on everyone.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, he can have
he'll take the hits because he can.
Spearmint Rhino font, and he can own that.
He doesn't need to pull his balls out. You know what I mean? Like this is a guy like in a bar fight. He could have killed everybody,
but he held back.
And he was letting them get their hits in to give him a chance to like, okay, maybe you should not do this.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about Luke Cage, is because there's just this. It's very quiet. There's like this subtle nobility to that character that I really enjoyed in Jessica Jones. He was a monolith.
A good way to say it. Yeah.
Nobility, really?
I thought that's
strong.
What? You didn't think so?
I would say.
I don't know.
I
took him more as a guy who desperately hates the abilities that have been thrust upon him.
I always thought he was excited by him.
Yeah,
maybe
I
not
feel
excited
like he
about.
was dodging that. He was like, "Man,
maybe not excited
with this."
I don't feel like he was excited about how he got them.
Sure.
Yeah. However that was.
I feel like he like.
Well, they haven't established
he
it in the
quietly
show.
owns it.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got this power.
Because when him and Jessica were talking over coffee or whatever, they were having burritos. That it was like the morning after they had shagged, and it was like they were sitting there, and he was so excited to meet somebody else that had powers.
Yeah.
And so he's asking all these questions that clearly he's been wanting to ask a long time. Like,
right.
I remember him having that conversation where he's like, "Do you have your own suit? Like, do you know anybody else?" And
but I mean, I found that excitement derivative because of his excitement finally finding someone else, whereas before it can be very lonely, being like, man, I'm alone. I'm just a guy, and now I'm a freak of nature.
I'm just a bill.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on to the big thing that happened recently, and that is the
Deadpool making
newest...
$500 million.
That's it. And that's our show.
I'm done.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. It was so good talking to y'all.
Deadpool on the internet.
The newest Daredevil trailer came out this morning. Our Twitter poll had it like I think it was 50-50 people thought it would come out after our show, because that's what Marvel tends to like to do to us is, oh, now that you guys are done recording, why don't you wait a week to talk about this awesome thing? Like Doctor Strange, like the Entertainment Weekly stuff, that literally, like, very literally dropped 5 minutes after we stopped recording.
Awesome.
It was just like, oh,
I was like walking out.
Oh, come on.
Like, ah!
They're screwing.
I was like, with me. Come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
Curse
this new Daredevil trailer came out,
Yeah.
and it's fancy. It's
So
It is
fancy.
fancy.
it's a fancy good time. I have to say, I really I dug it.
Yeah.
I dug it.
Totally.
I dug it.
No,
I'm still riding such a high that they're bringing Frank Castle into it, because
Oh my
he was
God.
also one of my all-time favorite Marvel
Yeah.
characters.
Same here.
And the line is you're just one bad day away from being me.
Yeah.
It's so Punisher, so good.
But then you have Elektra who comes in, and she is a dyed-in-the-wool, cold-blood like mofo. Like she
Yeah.
is a machine of
cannot.
doom.
I want to comment on the three as separate entities. The teaser being one flavor, trailer 1 being another, and trailer 2 being
trailer
completely
today.
different.
Yeah.
I love that Daredevil has 13 hours to have such scope that I'm not worried about a show where Punisher, Elektra, who knows who's hiding, or
Yeah.
Kingpin. I'm not worried at all, because in 4 minutes I've seen enough diversity of tone and flavor that
Yeah.
all fits in this umbrella that they've created, that I think they can handle it. All
Yeah.
three of those trailers were completely different, or 2 teaser trailers, you know what I'm saying? And they gave enough Elektra, they gave enough Punisher to give me infinite confidence in the show that I already had, but even
Yeah.
more. And Elektra looks like Elektra.
So good.
Yeah, she does.
Like, she's like, in 2.5 minutes, I fell in love with an actress I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
she
Elodie
can
Young,
fight.
yeah.
She's so gorgeous, and she's Elektra. She exudes every bit of like sexy hostility sadness, and that is not a flavor you get often.
Yeah.
Like, sexy hostility sadness is acting. My
Yeah.
God. So like within 2.5 minutes, I was just like, tell me
Or is
everything about you.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, while being afraid of her. And then Punisher, like you said, that's a character that's so hard to get right.
Oh, God,
they
yeah.
got that right, Daredevil right, her right, and all I've seen is 4 minutes, and I don't know anything about the show.
Yeah.
And the actor, and forgive me, I forget his name, which is ironic because I'm becoming a
for
huge
who?
fan for Punisher. The guy
John
John
Bernthal.
Bernthal.
Okay, so his portrayal of Shane in Walking Dead.
Oh, man.
was, I mean, it's just that when I heard he had been cast as the Punisher, I was like, that's
yeah, totally.
It's
beyond
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And what was funny is that, like, I had never even considered him.
Yeah, neither did I.
And then when they
even-
announced it, I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. He's dead on perfect.
Yeah. I mean, he's as an actor, his level of containment.
Yeah.
Like just watching him playing Shane, like
Shane.
but it. I mean,
He's got that like love to hate, to
All you-
hate
yeah.
to
I
love, just
love
want
that
to
actor.
punch him in the face kind of thing
if
about him.
there's any question of whether or not he was the right choice for
Yeah.
Punisher, all you have to do is watch him for 3 seconds sitting on that park bench watching that merry-go-round go
Yeah.
dark. And,
Yeah.
and like if you don't see Frank Castle, then you don't know Punisher.
Yeah.
He was
He
perfect
looks like
there.
John Romita Sr. drew him.
Yeah.
Like, it looks
Like the
like,
nose and
yeah, like
everything,
he
yeah.
broke his nose like
the
Punisher
hair,
had.
the swooshy
It's
hair.
just so perfect.
Yeah.
And like then they have. If you told me 2 years ago there'd be a show with Yakuza, Hand, Elektra, Punisher, Daredevil, and it wouldn't feel cluttered, I
like,
wouldn't
get
believe
out.
you. I'd be like, oh yeah, I saw Daredevil too, bruh. Like, how is
Yeah.
that even a thing? And then this show just does it.
Well, let me bring this up. We
Fury,
know
I'll have to watch that.
from a few different like interviews and stuff like that we meet the Punisher in the very first episode. Like, it's like, here's Punisher. So what I've noticed in the between trailers is in the first trailer with Punisher, we saw Daredevil in a completely different suit, and then we see him in a completely different suit in this one.
Oh yeah.
So here's my theory based purely on that. It starts off with Punisher as kind of the big bad, like for the first 2, 3, 4 episodes. Daredevil's handling that. His suit gets ruined in the whole process. It's probably shot to hell. And he gets out of it. He and Frank Castle come to sort of like all right, look, I don't agree with your methods, but what you're doing is noble in some way. Like, you're taking out the trash in the only way you know how. Try to keep the damage a little bit less, you know? And they become like allies in a way.
Yeah.
And then Elektra comes in, like, just as soon as like Murdoch's about to like, oh, got that one off
and
my
there's
back.
a wedge.
And then she comes in, and he's like, oh, come on, what's next?
Yeah.
And he and Frank Castle have now, together, the two of them, taken out, like they say in the trailer, well, the Hand has been hibernating while you took out all the competition. And I think the first couple episodes are them wiping out the competition, and then Elektra coming in, and that's why he's got like a new suit and this and everything else. I think Elektra is a little bit further in the season. That's my theory.
I wonder if there's going to be a moment where Elektra and Frank are going to be at odds, and then Daredevil's going to get caught in the middle of that.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I wonder, you know what I mean?
Like with these writers, absolutely, they're going to put him in that crucible.
There's got to be a moment. I love when shows do that. I love when writing does that. When you take a character and introduce him to the darker version of himself, of who he'd be. Like, again, to use Battlestar Galactica as an example, Admiral Kane and Admiral Adama. Like Adama even says in the episode, like, that would have been me if you hadn't told us to run at the beginning. And so, and Frank flat out saying that to Matt Murdock.
You're one
like,
bad day away.
Oh my
from being
God,
me. It's
I
so
know.
good.
And it makes you fear for Matt because it's so
It's
true.
so true.
It's
You
so
can see it.
true.
You can see it in him. You
Yeah.
can see that pull to the dark side constantly working on him. And
I love that the suit gets more and more faithful to the comics, and I also love that it is something that would happen. It's like clothes get rough when you fight. But also, they clearly listen to the fans. Like the things that we had issues with the costume, they're fixing and they're evolving and they're modifying. So that is one amazing aspect of the internet. Like we have actual access to make the things we love that are being made for us to love them change. So the suit looks great. Maybe one day we'll get the yellow suit, because why not?
I do have one quick question though.
Yes.
So what I noticed is what I thought was really interesting is at one point in the trailer you actually hear Elektra say, "Matt, you're one of the greatest fighters I've ever known."
Yeah.
And then it'll cut to another scene where you see Frank Castle beating the unholy hell out of Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like maybe we're gonna see a Punisher that's actually not just a badass, but kind of scary. Like if he can stand toe to toe in a fist fight with Daredevil, like maybe that's. I mean,
he was Special Forces.
I know
he's
Special Forces,
he's
but like
driven now. Like he was raised.
That's what I'm wondering. Like I'm wondering because Daredevil, commonly known as the man without fear, like what is Frank Castle? It's like because clearly he has nothing to live for anymore.
The man who gives fear.
Well, and Daredevil now has stuff to lose. He's got. We'll see the Karen Page stuff in the season. We're gonna see the Elektra stuff in the season because he has stuff to lose now. There's way more emotionality there, and clearly Punisher has nothing to lose. We see that. We know that. That's his whole character.
Yeah.
So one character's entire pathos being about having nothing to lose, and then we're building up the man of that fear having things to lose. It's not a coincidence.
So you could say Punisher is what is Daredevil
is one bad day away from becoming him.
Exactly.
Like if Daredevil were to lose Karen Page and Foggy Nelson
in a violent bloodbath in front of his eyes, then he might be the Punisher.
Dude, if we lose Foggy, I'm becoming the Punisher. Like I'm gonna get so pissed.
I don't think we're gonna lose Foggy, but I do like there. I mean Karen Page's story in the comics is not a good one.
No, it's not. I'm really. I get so nervous because I see this and I'm like, God, I know what's coming.
Frank Miller, I know that panel. I know
in season 1 where they had her at the table with Leslie. And like they played that so good.
The tension was so high.
I was just
on
like,
that.
oh my God, this is like they're gonna kill Karen Page. Oh my God, they're gonna kill Karen Page. And then they reverse it and she does it to him. I was like,
when the gunshot went off, I know.
Oh yes,
when that
is the
gun
best.
When that gun went off, I jumped in my seat and spilled coffee on myself, and I didn't even care. I just kept staring. I was like,
you're like, I'll handle it in a minute.
Yeah, I was like, just burn. I'll
just burn. It's okay. What's going on? What's going on?
Oh,
Karen did it.
It means I'm alive.
But I love that because it basically states that we're still going to tell a good story, but you can't predict what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't
Well, it's
know.
also interesting. Like Daredevil's not a character that, like, the current run on Daredevil is an incredible comic. If you're not reading it, it's really good. And I love the idea that we have so much density that we can have multiple 13-hour seasons of a show. And we haven't even touched on Bullseye yet. Like, we've got so much. Like it's incredible.
Holy shit, you're totally right.
Like there's so much density in this
that
character.
didn't even register to me
Season
yet.
3 could be Bullseye.
You're
It still
right.
feel
We haven't
huge.
even. Oh
And
man,
that
so
is
funny.
That is why, unless Bullseye gets like a secret reveal in this season, I think he's going to be the big, because they're going to do a season 3. Like, they're going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Bullseye will be the big bad in season 3, and I think Murdoch will lose both Elektra and Karen Page in season 3.
Oh God,
that's a good point. I wonder. See, I heard this morning, I heard that yesterday they announced that the Punisher spinoff was actually just a rumor.
Let's jump into that
Segue?
real quick right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean we're
Segue right in.
Skip it.
I like how sassy her stupid bopping
She's a sassy scatter. So the Jeff Loeb was talking to I think a podcast or a website, I can't remember, called Digital Spy, and he said, I think that being the Punisher series, I think that's something that people are speculating on as opposed to something that's actually happening. It's certainly our hope that any of our characters will be embraced and that people will want to see more of them. So
I guess we'll see after season 2 of Daredevil.
So yeah, I would say like by April we'll know.
That's fair. It sounds like they. Yeah. It sounds like they probably hadn't planned on it, but now that they're hearing fan reaction, now they're wondering if maybe they should consider it.
And I think that they've all seen the episodes. They know what it looks like. They know how the character's coming across. So I think that there's like, oh, he's pretty good. Yeah, and fans are going to like this, and we could do this.
And once again, Deadpool R-rated is going to change the whole atmosphere.
That absolutely changes it.
He scored big too, because he said in an interview when he was doing research for the role of Punisher that he went to comic book stores across the country and was just buying it up, and he learned who Frank Castle was, and now he's like in love with him. Now he's in love with him. It's like, yeah, dude, you got handed a character that's perfect for what you do.
And that actor's so good in every little role he has. I can't wait to see him as a lead. Like when he pops up in movies, I'm always so excited.
That was the thing, is like when spoiler alert, when he dies in Walking Dead.
If you're that far behind.
If you're that far behind, you're in trouble. But when he dies in Walking Dead, I remember not only feeling that gut wrenching that Rick had to kill his best friend and all this other stuff, but it was also sadness for the actor, because I'm not going to see this guy on the show anymore.
He's in like 5 minutes of We're Your Friends, which is a Zac Efron movie that only I saw. And every time he's on screen, you're just like, I want to know that guy's story. So having him as Punisher, I want to know that guy's story even more, and that is why I think he might get a show.
He does. I mean, and again, to reference Shane, and what I'm seeing in the Punisher, the previews are seeing in Punisher, he's just an actor who brilliantly blends that rage with the vulnerability. It's like the reason why he has so much rage and darkness is because he's so vulnerable. And it's like just watching him on that bench, man. I always think of that bench scene. It was just him sitting
that was like the key. That's the key to
Here's my question for you guys.
Marisha, ask that question.
All right, thank you for giving me the floor.
So you got clearance? Okay, she has clearance.
I'm so thrilled. Do you think
okay, so skippity bop bop. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Go ahead. I had to do it once.
Do you think there is a legitimate fear as a fan, because I'm sure Marvel and Disney has already thought about this fear, of potential oversaturation with so many spin-off series?
Yeah.
Actually, last week I talked about how I'm really happy DC exists and their style of existing and like the way they're doing their movies, and I think a lot of fans misinterpreted that. I'm super positive about like the fact that the gods it's a God universe versus underdog universe. I think if DC didn't exist, we'd be more likely to have Marvel be oversaturated because everything would feel one way. But with the dichotomy of the Superman type characters, with the dichotomy of how Zack Snyder's building this universe, it allows there to be more characters and have less oversaturation because we see the polarity. So I think having Netflix exist even as often as it does now, or more, as long as we have more broad and general heroes and more epic heroes, it won't make anything feel wrong because it's more of a genre than it is a single isolated incident.
You know, Langley Neely actually brings up a really good point here in the chat channel.
Langley usually does.
Langley's a smart man.
He said that Punisher plays better bouncing off other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that might be tie into perfectly what you were just saying, Marisha.
Essentially, yeah. Because, I mean,
he's
as much
like
as we
Hulk.
love
like
them.
It's hard to do a Hulk movie, like,
right,
you
by
know,
himself.
so.
Right.
Like, he was great in the comics, but I mean, maybe Punisher is, I hate saying this because I want to see more Punisher, but maybe Punisher is perfectly cast as somebody who plays alongside Daredevil or off of Daredevil as opposed to
perfect in that universe, certainly.
Right. Which is why maybe like him having a stronger presence in like an Electro spinoff might be where I'm happier.
Or like a team up of Elektra and Punisher.
Yeah.
Oh God, the body count. The body count would be absurd.
I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'd be so there.
That's what they would call the series, body count.
Oh, and then there could be something. Maybe something happens between Frank and Elektra, and then yeah. Oh no.
Well,
hey,
I
got Doom has a question for all of you. Do you think that Punisher would fit better into as a fifth member of the Defenders? Since that series, I did a breakdown recently of like all of the Marvel properties coming out in the next like 5 years. It's an insane number.
There's a lot.
Because if Netflix, barring Netflix increasing their output, we're looking at Daredevil and Luke Cage this year. Iron Fist and Jessica Jones Season 2 next year in 2017, which pushes Defenders and whatever would be technically Netflix Phase 3 or Phase 2, if you will, to 2018. So a Punisher series would put it at least 3 to 4 years out at this point. So maybe they're holding off on development because they just don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And at this point, what Marvel's been really good with, as opposed to DC, where you have to watch 4 shows just to keep up to date, Marvel has done a good job pacing their content so that fans never feel overwhelmed.
Yeah,
They're also independent while referencing each other, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
And hard to do. The writing, good job, writers. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Good.
Yeah, I mean, like with the oversaturation, like I think that's certainly a possibility. I think that at some point, like
we'll get there. The bubble's gonna burst.
It'll
but
slow
right
down.
Now, I am happy.
But right now, like it's a feeding frenzy of wonder and.
I've gotten to see
beauty.
Deadpool 5 times, and in 4 weeks I get to see Batman fight Superman. It's pretty sweet.
I got to be honest, I was burning out big time on superhero stuff, which I didn't think was possible until Daredevil and Jessica Jones hit Netflix.
Yeah.
And it just opened it up, all the love for it again. Because, I mean, everything was so bombastic and huge and earth-shattering, and now all of a sudden you've got the Devil Kitchens. The Devil's Kitchen
the polarity.
stories.
We have 2 options, and that's amazing, and that's what I think is going to prevent... ironically, having more, but having more different, I think, is going to prevent us from having burnout.
Yeah.
It'll happen eventually, but soon.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, anyway, it's like just jumping back into Daredevil real quick. I did notice a couple different things that I wanted to point out. We saw him do a billy club bounce off of a wall, which is exciting.
Oh, that's right, he did. Well, yeah, that's
like
right.
in the hall, like I think every single episode is going to pay homage to the hallway fight scene from season 1, because we've seen like 3 different fight scenes so far, like in the trailers. I think every single episode is going to be like, oh god, here Daredevil's got into another hallway.
It's just so
it's gonna be crazy with the hallway.
It was just the best.
That was
scene,
so
though.
good.
It was so good.
It's easy to sort of dismiss this as sort of like fanboy or fangirl like obsession because it's a comic book show and blah blah blah.
Sure.
But that really, really was one of the cinematic masterpieces of the past like
really
15
was.
years. That
Amazing.
shot was incredible.
And to me, like as a martial artist, and I know you do this as well, Eric. It was the most real fight that
He
I've
got
ever
winded.
seen. He got winded. He had to stop and be like,
He was
okay,
exhaustion
one
was
more.
becoming a huge enemy.
It's like 10 weeks now, right?
Yeah, March 18th. What's so funny though is that they did exhaustion. And it wasn't boring. Like they made the exhaustion was exhilarating.
just like more tense.
No, move.
Yeah.
You've got to keep moving, dude.
Chris Brewster, killing it.
Yeah, he's friends with the stunt guy who did that whole scene.
If you guys
so
ever get a
good.
chance, just to put a cap on this, if you ever get a chance, Kevin Smith did a speech at this last year's Geeky Awards, which I think is on YouTube, where he explains what it was like being a geek, being passionate about comic books and his love for Daredevil. And he talks about that scene, about sitting his wife down and trying to get his wife to understand why he loves Daredevil so much and what that scene meant to him. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but the payoff at the end is astounding. It's so worth it. It's like an 8-minute like monologue that he does where he just explains every shot to his wife. And you got to see it. If it's up on YouTube, please go find it. It's totally worth it. Yeah.
Skibidi booping on. We also have like a really great shot of like Daredevil like rescuing someone, like falling down a building, and he's holding onto a rope and he's reaching out to hold her. And I'm like, oh my god, does he have the billy clubs and the ropes and he's rappling and he's gonna go swinging and it's gonna be all over the... Oh my god, oh my god, are we actually getting that? Like, oh my god, it's this trailer, like the first trailer with Punisher was like, oh no, this is so, oh no, like the Punisher's, oh this is bad, I can't wait for this. But this trailer was, oh, this is Daredevil. Okay.
Yeah, this last one was more intense.
I opened
You're
the
right,
comic
though.
book this morning kind of thing,
They totally Quentin Tarantino'd it. They were like, this one's going to be a martial arts trailer, this one's going to be an old Western
It's really
trailer.
interesting how they could do that and still feel all of them to the umbrella of Daredevil.
Yeah.
So let's address this very quickly.
Okay.
The Hand. What the F are they up to?
I don't know, but they're scary in this show.
They're scary. So but the quote that they had was, they've been hibernating. That Daredevil has now cleaned out all the bad guys, and the rising is coming, and you cannot stop what we have started.
The stakes are so high.
Like,
and his sensei, his master, the guy who teaches him,
yeah.
Stick, who by the way is probably one of my all-time favorite characters. Period. Now,
so good, so good.
I've loved that actor ever since I first saw him on The Hunt for Red October. He played the captain of the USS Dallas on Hunt for Red October. I can't remember his name, but he's such a brilliant actor who we've never seen his
killed it role, yeah.
But Stick, when he's giving that speech about all he says is they're called the Hand. The way he's saying it, the way that scene is going down, it sounds like even he is like, you're in it now, man.
Yeah,
like, this isn't Kingpin anymore.
Yeah.
These people, like, that just gave me chills, because when you get Stick, who's talking with some reverence about an enemy, then it's like, whoa,
Right.
yeah.
Holy
But
shnikes.
we got that picture of the pit, like right after that guy says you can't stop what we've got coming. Then we get that giant pit, and like Daredevil and Elektra walk up to it, and my immediate thought was, are we going to see like some sort of Shadowlands adaptation, like where like the beast of the Hand is going to inhabit like someone else, and Daredevil is going to have to fight like
weird,
a demon ninja?
I wonder if they'll do that.
I mean, it's
feels like that's
supernatural.
and it is supernatural. However, I think that's the direction that they're going.
Right.
And I think they're going that direction because they've had a hard time figuring out how to adapt Iron Fist and Kunlun and all that stuff.
That as well.
This is, hey, you remember that property that you loved that we did like last year called Daredevil? Remember that? And you loved it and you're on board for it and you understand the characters in that universe? Well, what if in that universe we had just like a little bit more of a mysticism and some ninjas and like there was
You
some
just want Doctor
spirituality
Strange
there.
to make an appearance in Daredevil.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Exactly what this is about.
But like Iron Fist is a mystical character, and like to bring that universe into this very gritty universe is a bit of a trick.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is the way that they're doing it. Like it's the same thing as like introducing all the elements of
Black
like
Panther
of Black Panther.
That way
They're
you're
saying,
aware.
here's the Hand, here's mysticism.
There's mysticism.
Maybe there's 7 secret cities, and maybe one of them's called Kunlun, and maybe there's a series coming out called Iron Fist.
And we've already seen the symbol in season 1. We've had little tastes. I think more tastes get us closer.
We're
and
gonna
closer.
get a giant taste of this, and I think
I see what you're
Defenders is going to
saying.
be a big, like,
and
fighting the Hand
perhaps
in a lot.
that's why they
of ways.
announced the casting of Iron Fist before Daredevil came
They
out.
haven't
in 3
announced
weeks.
the casting.
That's why there's a strong rumor for
There's
the casting.
a very strong rumor
But
for
it
the
would make
casting.
sense that they announced, or perhaps announced this 3 weeks out, because that guy might show up in Daredevil season 2.
I think that would be smart. I think that they should do that. So speaking of, let's jump to that.
I thought that was a good tangent.
No, it was a very good tangent. Good work. Really solid work. Finn Jones' Iron Fist. That's the rumor, as said by that hashtag show and Entertainment Weekly. Netflix and Marvel, as of us recording this, have not commented on that. Yeah.
That's the rumor?
That's
Who's
the
Finn
rumor.
Jones?
Finn Jones was, he's the Knight of Flowers in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
didn't know
That's
it was
right.
the
We
role,
talked
yeah.
about that. That's
Very
right.
piercing eyes.
Oh, he's a beautiful man.
I looked it up and I was like, man.
Yep.
The Baby Blues.
So that is like, if it ends up being true, there's going to be some controversy about it because a lot of people wanted an Asian American actor.
Right.
I feel like I was kind of a little bit more in that camp because I would like to see a little bit more diversity going on. But I get why they made this decision. Like, it is a very large part of his character that he is like a trust fund baby. But I also think they could have done like he's an Asian American who's a trust fund baby. Like,
As long as the guy can act.
Yeah.
Like, I
There's
just want to
big
plenty
factor,
of Asian
yeah.
Americans that are trust fund babies.
I mean,
it's
I know,
not like it's a stretch.
Exactly.
I know this gets really hot. This becomes a really hot button topic with a lot of, especially diehard.
Look at him. Look at him. You just
he will make you question your sexuality. That's
You just fall into his eyes.
I gotta say,
dreamy.
He's
all right.
Gamer Girl insists that Finn Jones is not beautiful. Huh?
Apparently, Heroic Hollywood has confirmed the casting.
Oh, they have.
I'm just saying that's the rumor on the live chat.
Oh, okay.
Just throwing my hat in there.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. With regards to the Asian American or the Asian actor, I feel like I don't know. I know comic book fans can get really heated and divided about this issue, but I don't have any problem when they take risks like that. I hate that I'm about to invoke this film, but the original Daredevil movie, I did not have a problem with Michael Clark Duncan being Kingpin.
Oh, he was Kingpin.
He was amazing.
He was great.
Yeah. I thought he was awesome. And so when they do little things like that, I don't have I'm like, why would you have a James Bond being black? I don't have a problem.
Idris Elba's gonna be a way better Bond than anybody.
I know he's so Bond, and so I don't think it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think on this, I wouldn't have a problem if they did that. I don't think it's a huge leap at all.
Sorry.
But no, I was just going to say, we were talking about this before we started up today, is that, I mean, it's also true to the character if it is a Caucasian actor. So it's like, where do you... Where do you draw that line?
I said last week that I wanted them to open the casting up to everyone that was good at acting.
Right.
And, like, you know,
Right.
I think him being good, being, like, a physical actor, having martial arts, all those things are way more important to me than any sort of race.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
because of that, I was called a racist dude bro
Well, of course.
all over Twitter because of me literally saying,
course
I
you were.
think all
Everyone
are an
should be
option,
included,
but apparently
right.
that's not politically correct by saying we should not
No,
look at race.
no.
Not looking at race is racist.
I mean,
young man.
the fact that
That's
I
what
brought the fact that I said the word race
Dude.
immediately. I'm going to be We're,
We got
we're,
a lot of
we're all-
flags in this episode.
Yeah.
It's all over you guys.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's more important than the actor can act. I think it's more important that the actor is the character. Michael Clark Duncan is Kingpin. Michael
Yeah.
Clark
Yeah.
Duncan nailed it. He had the physicality, he had the voice, he had the nest. That's what matters, and that's
Yeah.
all I care
Right.
about. You show me an actor playing a character, unless it's like 100% of their character, which I can't think of a single character that is 100% of their character, then it should be whoever deserves the part.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
guy, I hope, deserves the part, and he's pretty.
That moment where Michael Clark Duncan, he pulls a cigar out of his mouth and he's like, nobody's innocent.
Yeah, dude, that's the
Nobody.
Kingpin.
So
dude.
Kingpin.
And I don't know this
He
guy,
is
but that
so
also
good.
excites me.
We've only got a few minutes left. So
Okay.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has cast Natalia Cordova Buckley as Slingshot, which gets us one step closer to even more Secret Warriors. This is
Right.
like our first big Secret Warriors casting from like the actual comic books outside of Quake.
Right.
We haven't had any, like, we've got a guy who can kind of melt stuff, sort of like Inferno could, but he's not really Inferno, like, you know, so but I'm excited about that because, like, this to me, you want to talk about Doctor Strange, to me Sebastian Druid was one of the Secret Warriors, and I feel like I am dying for like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to like get Sebastian Druid.
Yeah.
I'm like, as soon as they announce that, I'm gonna be like, you know what, greatest show ever. Greatest show ever. They brought in Sebastian Druid. I'm done. Done.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of brings up. I am curious of like in this kind of this is kind of connected to what you were saying about Daredevil earlier, but I am curious of how they're going to slowly start introducing a more mystical aspect to the Marvel universe. And
Yeah,
sort of more
because they
than-
have to.
Yeah, you
they
can't
have no
avoid
choice.
it. Yeah, you can't avoid it for too long.
Yeah, if
Eventually,
they're gonna sell it.
which is why I'm just desperate for Ghost Rider to somehow come back. I'm just desperate for.
If
but
Marvel
I-
could get that back going, like that would be a Netflix thing. So
Yeah.
I, mean,
let's,
I think people are responsive.
yeah.
I think people will buy it, though. That's the thing. I think it would almost do more of a disservice to the whole franchise if you strayed away from the mystical element.
yeah,
Kind of a la everyone getting a little irritated at the end of the first season of True Detective. How they were like, "This is mystical." Not really.
Nope, it's a guy in a lawnmower.
Nope, he's just under. Yeah,
It's a pretty mystical lawnmower.
And everyone was
Lawnmower
like,
man.
"Oh man!" And I feel like everyone, for the most part, was like, "No, we would have been there. We
Yeah.
would have
You had
been
us the
with
whole
it. You had us the
time,
whole
yeah.
For
time."
10
And then they
hours
were
we
we
like,
watched
Nope.
that together, didn't we?
"Yeah, I think so."
I would love to see what S.H.I.E.L.D. would do with stuff like that,
Oh,
and how
man,
they would.
yeah.
I would love.
I
to
mean,
see
it
that.
would like. I don't think that they would do him as an Inhuman, but
Right.
like I think that would be fine.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So anyway, let's
Matt,
move on.
do you think
Yes.
this could be Druid?
Huh. Interesting.
This is from the Agents of
see
S.H.I.E.L.D.
it?
teaser.
And the fatigues.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a twist, but he he has the mystical eyes that
I
could be a mystical take
What?
on the character. I don't know.
I don't see
How
that.
do you
I-
see
like, I
that?
don't even
His
see
eyes are black and shadow.
Yeah, his eyes are in
This sounds like
shadow.
extrapolation, internet.
He's got a hat on. That's the thing.
I
Confirmed hat.
I
we
don't
can confirm
think,
a
I
hat.
don't. We're zooming in. I love it. I love it so much. I love the voice of Doom.
I mean, they're not. They're not like fancy
Oh,
glasses.
he does have.
His eyes are
Oh,
glowing.
dude, good
Oh,
catch.
eyes.
And then if you look, there's another shot of this character later in the episode. He's being
interesting.
hauled away in cuffs and eye gear.
Good catch, man.
Good eyeballs on the eyeballs.
So it would be a twist. I mean, the our
don't
new
think
guy
it is, but-
seems to fit the at least the type of Druid. At least he's like a
Yeah.
little nervous. Could potentially get kicked off for not being
Weird.
good in the field.
On the picture on our stream, it's so much more clear. The TV we're looking at is like so dark. He clearly has eyes. We're all like, eyes.
man, dude, he's got eyes, man.
Sorry,
We-
guys.
Oh, that's so.
We
funny.
do have giant like LED
Oh my
panels.
god, he has a
that's kinda-
beard, guys.
Oh, that's so funny.
He has a beard? What?
Yeah.
So
So
funny.
our apologies, live chat. We could not see that at the
Yeah,
time.
we get.
I hope that it is. I don't think it is. Something tells me that it's not. I don't know that they would put him in fatigues, but maybe they do. Maybe that's how they find him.
They also threw us Crusher Creel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which, by the way, I'm excited about Crusher Creel, and here's why. Crusher Creel was the father to Jerry Sledge, who was Stonewall in the Secret Warriors. I think Absorbing Man finds out that he's got a kid, and then that kid joins the Secret Warriors.
Wow, the big webs that are being weaved.
Yeah. I'm actually excited about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come back.
Yeah.
There's a little pee coming out of me right now.
I love how often that works.
So Grant Ward is Hive. That was accidentally said by Elizabeth Henstridge at Wizard World Portland.
She accidentally said that?
Where she said, and now Ward is Hive and takes on the memories of people he's killed. So that's going to have some interesting situations. Like she accidentally said that. So anyway, Hive couldn't do that in the comics, by the way. He didn't kill people and take on their memories. He was just like this weird writhing collection of parasites.
Right, yeah.
More or less. That's kind of a rudimentary description of him, but he's got like stuff crawling under him, it looks like, and he's transforming, so maybe we'll see that. Anyway, first synopsis for Marvel's Most Wanted came out. Don't have time to read it, but it sounds like Bobby and Lance are on the run, and they're the ones that are most wanted, which is actually kind of interesting. So let's jump out of, like, that's the synopsis is on geekgirlauthority.com. You can go look it up there. I'm sorry that we don't have time to get through it, but we have to have time for the Merry Marvellites.
Merry Marvellites.
Merry Marvellites.
Before I say them, I have to say it looks like everyone's confirming. Just so we are part of that movement. Entertainment Weekly just posted it. I think it's legit. I don't know the actor. I'm excited to see what he can do. And I know, how can I say this without getting in trouble? I know they are currently casting a thing that sounds like Iron Fist right now.
Oh, you're so racist, man.
So that's a thing that's happening. I know they're currently in production of a thing that sounds an awful lot like a thing that could be exciting.
Could be.
That's
awesome.
Merry Marvellites. We have Okay, so I haven't read these in a few weeks, so I'm going to do all of February. If I named you twice, you just get an extra shout out. I just want to miss anyone, so I'm going to cover my bases.
Yeah, boy.
I think that's fair.
Do it fast.
Mr. Poop Magoo, Jay Batistella, Chaz Voltaire, Core 1978, Weakness spelled all funky, Wonder Rob, Psionic Lex, MMPR Calabama, DCM 2002, Edgar Allan Poe Dameron. Nice.
Well done.
Bearded Panda 1, Akin 87X. Oh my god, there's so many. You guys are great. Okay, it's
Are these all like 5-star reviews?
All
or?
5-star reviews.
Oh, thanks guys.
They're just killing the game.
Sweet.
Okay. Bearded Panda already said. Ken87X, Taj Graham, Sep13, who's also we talk on other things and things awesome. And my narcissism's personal favorite. The review is left by Coy Jandreau. And my ego and myself, thank you. Very funny. You guys are all incredible. Thank you so much. I always love reading these. They're always great. We have a bunch of birthdays, but first, Matt.
Well, let's see. We've got Leo Blackfire. Fire spelled F-Y-R-E. Said a name worth a shout out next week. He was asking like if he's got a name worth a shout out. And then he said to let's see. At Frank8870 said, "Tell Coy he's my favorite Deadpool fan. Second favorite Spidey fan."
I can live with that.
So Daniel Drew at Jedi Times Cyan said for the Marvel Gang. When did I write this down? Oh, he had a picture and I forgot to put it up. sorry, Daniel Drew.
Now it has no context.
Leo Blackfire, you got a shout out. Frank, you got a shout out. Daniel Drew, I messed your shout out, but shout out. John Edward Goats. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. I made a comment earlier and I said there, but I spelled it THEY''RE, and he grammar Nazi'd me and said there, THEIR, which was the proper use. As a literature major, I should have known that. I immediately deleted the tweet because I was super embarrassed.
Shame.
But I had to give John Edward his
You
his
actually
shout out.
feel shame from grammar Nazis? I'm like, come on, asshole.
You got things to do on the internet.
Exactly.
No, John, you're not.
Look,
You're not an a-hole.
Marisha just
You're
likes
not an
to
a-hole,
fight.
John.
It's not like I'm ignorant. Sometimes it happens, okay? It happens. I type fast sometimes.
It's the internet. That's
the
what
internet.
typing fast. Okay, and then quickly, I had a couple more shout-outs that I had missed. Tyler Bacon. Happy
Tyler
birthday
Bacon.
on Monday.
Love it.
Happy birthday. Ashu Jetty, also happy birthday. Happy
Cashew
21st.
Jetty.
Ashu Jetty.
Cashew Jedi.
Cashew Jedi. Happy birthday. Blake Carver, I owed you a New Year's shout-out, and you reminded me 2 months later, and that means you get your name said twice, because I'm sorry, Mr. Blake Carver. Thank you. And then, lastly, today today is Dennis Langston's birthday and also his niece's birthday. So happy birthday to
birthday to
Happy
everybody.
birthday.
you and your
birthday.
niece and anyone else that I've missed in the last few weeks. It has been chaos and madness, and I love you just as much. I just didn't say your name. But I love you. Thank you guys. You're my favorite part of doing the show.
Real quick, we've also got Andrew Middlemas at 2 rounds left, who said Elizabeth Debicki and Chris Sullivan as Moondragon and Pip the Troll to introduce Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Adam Warlock.
Like,
See, I'll take Adam if I can't get Silver Surfer. If I can't get Norrin Radd, I'll take Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock would be pretty freaking epic.
That would
to
be
get.
pretty amazing. Can you and to see Strange and Warlock together would be mind blowing.
And you know
awesome.
what would be really awesome is if Debicki and Sullivan, Moondragon and Pip, that would be awesome also.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, Elizabeth Debicki is a giantess. Like, she's like 6 foot tall.
Really?
So like her as Moondragon with a shaved head would be pretty.
That would be pretty awesome.
Dead on, yeah. And Chris Sullivan, like, I feel like he might be a little too tall to be Pip the Troll, but like they can do special effects on him.
Yeah.
But like to have like Adam Warlock and for them to be like blah 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 blah. Oh, him. Like, and to just refer to him as him.
As the original
like,
Adam, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. Because in Fantastic Four, by the way, for those of you who don't know, when Adam Warlock was first introduced and coming out of his cocoon as the perfect human being ever, they just referred to him as
I just got
him.
that issue.
Yeah.
I got one of the, yeah.
You bought it? Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I just
so
got
jealous.
it.
I want it so bad.
And I've
That's
got
one I've always wanted.
I've got somebody holding Silver Surfer #1 for me right now.
Just
That's
stop.
really great, actually.
Just
Yeah, that's great.
that is so long of you.
Rivaling Coy Jandreau.
All I know is that
Coy Jandreau.
puns can never be used wrong. Never.
Stop it
Just
now.
saying.
Stop. Let's see. We've also got. Let's see. Can I get a B-Day shout out? It was on the 23rd, and I still want to be a guest on the couch. Oh no! It's at Lee the Father, 23 Lee. It was on the page up. Also, Aiden at Installation 04. If you could turn any Marvel property into an R-rated film, what would you choose? Real fast.
Carnage, Maximum Carnage. I would love Venom and Carnage in a movie with symbiote and evisceration and violence and love.
Cool. You got one?
The only one I can think of is an old graphic novel called God Loves Man Kills. It was an X-Men
Oh,
comic.
that is a good
But
one.
they kind of did it with X-Men
Yeah, they tried
too.
to
Yeah.
do it.
So I would have loved to have seen it as an art, as like the real
As
like
art.
as it was written by back then. So yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
what I'd pick. Yeah.
You got one?
Gosh, there were some like good like Amazing Iron Man comics and
Yeah.
stuff like that were pretty brutal. That
Yeah.
would be pretty rad
Yeah,
to see.
you
Like
could
an
go-
R-rated Iron Man would
Yeah,
be
you
pretty
could
rad.
go. You could go any Iron Man.
That's
comic
kind
you
of one of my favorite versions of Iron Man.
Ultimate's
is when
Iron
he's,
Man,
like,
who's
no-
got the brain.
Oh
tumor.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
That would be-
yes.
that would be
Ultimate's
pretty
Iron
cool.
Man. That's what I want.
Cool. Okay. I would say Darkhold Redeemers or Cloak and Dagger. We're moving on.
and
Dave
Dagger,
West at Dubs West, about to listen to Marvel news from Australia. What's up, dude? Australia! That's awesome. Shout out to you. Movieverse at Movieverse 2 saying maybe one day they'll appear on the couch. Hint, hint. If you live in Los Angeles, DM us. PM us, however, private message.
Yeah.
I don't know
Or
what you
fly
could
out
say.
here. But we won't pay for your plane ticket.
We had a dude who worked for Southwest fly out here just to be on our show. Like, that dude's awesome. Finally, at Dennis Langston, can I get a birthday shout out on the show? It would make my day better. Niece is being born later today. Also,
Aw.
Dennis!
That's the one I did, but it's good because he's
Oh, okay.
Happy
so he's
birthday
getting another
again.
birthday again.
Oh, it's the second
sorry.
one.
So anyway, congratulations. We've got to wrap up. Sorry, I had a couple other pictures, but we are wrapping up. Anyway, I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key.
I'm Coy Jandreau at Coy Jandreau.
And where can they find you guys?
I'm at Marisha_Ray, and you can catch me on Critical Role on Thursday nights on Geek and Sundry, or Signal Boost coming in March,
And
also on Geek and Sundry.
I'm Eric Campbell. You can find me at 8-Bit Eric on Twitter, and I'll also be writing and sometimes, unfortunately, in front of the camera on Signal Boost on Geek and Sundry.
Anyway, that has been our show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye. Oh, man.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.